back to my channel, and today we will be discussing the sudden rise of trio girl groups that are currently making a comeback in 2024. I will be talking about their past and also present day of trio western girl groups, the downfalls and why they are making a comeback. So sit back, relax and grab some tea and enjoy. Going back to my Western girl groups, our flopping video, trios originally started in the 1920s as sister groups who were known as the Andrew Sisters, Three Sisters, etc. In the 1980s, we saw the rise of rock incorporated into the pop genre, which led us to the introduction of the popular trio Bananarama, if I'm pronouncing that right, with their hit single Venus, which you probably have heard on hair care adverts if you're from the UK. Now we move on to the most memorable and influential time in girl group history, that was the 90s. Before the Spice Girls took over the world, we had the most famous, influential R&B girl group to ever exist, and that was TLC. In the 2000s, we saw a large wave of trio girl groups, such as the first group that may come to mind is Destiny's Child. However, they weren't originally a trio but were a group with 5 members before, until they had lineup changes which resulted them to becoming a trio, adding a new member known as Michelle Williams, and this is the lineup of Destiny's Child, which is mostly more memorable. While the US had Destiny's Child and 3LW, the UK had a few trio girl groups popping off in the mainstream. These girl groups were the pop and R&B groups such as the Sugar Babes, Atomic Kitten and Mystique. The early 2000s was the decade we saw so many trio girl groups in the mainstream, which led to the decline in the 2010s when we started to see more 4-piece girl groups and 5-piece girl groups such as Little Mix, Fifth Harmony, GRL and the Saturdays. Now in the 20th decade, excluding K-pop girl groups, we are starting to see the increase of trio girl groups in the West, and I'm going to deep dive on why trio girl groups are appealing these days and why labels are preferring to promote them more than a regular 5-piece girl group. One of the reasons why I think that record labels are preferring to manage trio girl groups because they are a lot more cheaper to manage, because if you can tell from ever since the pandemic happened, the music industry is having a little trouble with handling artists due to investing too much money into one particular artist, and that said artist doesn't achieve the amount of success and money they have been expected to bring to the record label, which leaves the artist in a lot of debt due to the artist owing the label expenses, since the record label pays for the marketing of the single, artists or the band. We've seen a lot of TikTok stars blow up with one hit, so the label puts loads of effort into throwing their pennies away in trying to promote the artist or band, just for the artist or band to never be seen again. I think this is because record labels are scared to invest more money into a bunch of 4, 5, 6 girls and would rather focus on one solo artist than a band, because to think us women are very expensive individuals, so it can be quite hard to be able to afford to hire a makeup artist, a hairstylist and even outfits for 5 girls when they could be cheaper for one single solo artist. My next point in why labels are choosing trios is because they are easier to market. Trio girl groups are easier to market because it is easier for record labels to understand each member's interests and problems a lot clearly, unlike a 5-piece or 6-piece girl group, because maybe one member's interests and problems may become overshadowed by someone else's because it's harder to cater to all members' needs and wants. Plus, paying each member is way expensive when you are managing a 5 or more piece girl group. Meanwhile, with trios or even 4 pieces, it is easier to share the money out. Another reason why trios are easier is that it is easier to give different parts of a song to each member. Meanwhile, when there's a 5-piece member girl group, it is a lot harder to fit each member in a part of a song to try and make them feel heard. Like, I remember Fifth Harmony saying that they struggled to fit each member in a song. Flow do really well with fitting each member to sing each line. No member is unheard in Flow and everyone shines together, and I think that's why Flow are so successful, because there's no one like Beyonce, Camila Cabello, Nicole Scherzinger who outshines the rest of the members, and all the girls support each other. And I just think this is what a girl group is supposed to be. And with trio girl groups, it is easier for the members to get along with each other, because with a 5-piece girl group it would take a long time to find out everyone's strengths, weaknesses, and what they like in the type of music they are doing. So it can be a struggle for groups. Another benefit trio girl groups have is that it's easier to keep up with each member, which makes it easier for fans to get to know them more individually. Meanwhile, with a 5-piece or more girl group, it can be quite overwhelming figuring out every fact about each member and also keep up with every member. Like, a trio is quite easy because there's only 3 members, and it's easier for 3 members to show up to every music event. Meanwhile, like a 5-member girl group, some members wouldn't be able to show up to an event, which can seem very unprofessional, which may add to the stigma of girl groups never working out and never being friends because some members can't come to an event, if you get what I mean. If you're in a girl group, you need to be committed to that band, because if one member is not going to an event or an interview, you're letting the band down and making fans think there's something wrong with the band, especially when a girl group or a boy band is in their debut era and one member is not turning up to an event. It can look very suspicious and alarming, because you're in your debut era and people want to get to know each member and see who the hell is in the band so they can stan. A lot of people on Twitter I've seen have been discussing that trios work better than 5-member girl groups. However, trio girl groups have had their controversies with lineup changes and drama as well. Don't be blaming everything on the 5-piece girl groups, guys. I know 5-piece girl groups can be hard, but trios can also have their issues. For example, the Sugar Babes had many lineup changes throughout the 2000s as well, mostly because of bullying allegations and petty dramas, according to Siobhan. Apparently her and Keisha didn't get along, and she was also replaced with Heidi Range. However, the original lineup of the Sugar Babes are still together now, and looks like they've all grew up, made up, and still best friends, releasing albums and touring. But if you want a whole Sugar Babes video deep dive, I can give you that, because oh my gosh, I can talk about them for ages, because the Sugar Babes fascinate me and I love them so much. Overall, to conclude this video, the rise of trio girl groups are definitely the best idea for the current state of the music industry at the moment. I think trios are way better to market, especially how much TikTok has influenced everyone's brains throughout the last 4 years, which has made consumers' attention spans shorter. So trio girl groups, especially in the West, will be easier, especially how the West are so annoying with girl groups, and there is a weird narrative that there has to be one girl group around each decade, when that is not the case. However, I do think that not all girl groups should be a trio. Like, I've seen some of the upcoming girl groups who have recently lost a member absolutely need an extra member to help them deliver their unique sound they most likely desire. Like, sometimes 4-piece girl groups aren't that bad, guys. I much prefer some of the girl groups out there, the new ones, be a 4-piece. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know your opinions on trio girl groups. Tell me if you like trios better, or do you like 5 pieces better, or do you like K-pop and the 7-piece girl groups? Because I like them all. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye!